Hello, lovelies. So I know I said I will be talking about pier footings on this week's video, but I thought I would talk about the manufactured home that we purchased, or rather the company that we brought it from, and the differences that we learned along the way. The difference that we learned that I wish we would have known beforehand, because I'm sure that would have gone into our decision-making process. Now, the home that we purchased, we love it. It's beautiful. Um, the process that we went through, the sales associate that helped us was very nice. Um, Everything with the company was okay until we learned towards the end of their process. Like I said before, I have watched a lot of videos of other people who went through this process, and I never picked up on the difference in them explaining. I never picked up a difference when I did my research. But anywho, let me go into it. Like I said, we went to several companies before we decided to deal with this particular company because we like this particular home. We went with Skyline, Champion, Factory Direct, Skyline in Leola, Pennsylvania. Now, the issue that we had was as we were looking at the homes and we was talking with the sales associate, they did give us this sheet of paper. Okay, and on it, it has a list of manufactured home installers. So when we initially got this sheet, we just thought that they were giving this to us to let us know the companies that they dealt with, you know, full disclosure, letting us know. So I'm like, okay, great. So a couple of months went by before we put in a contract for the particular home that we wanted. So when we was going through the contract process, signing the documentation and everything, and once everything was finished, we got this sheet again. Okay. Again, never thought anything of it, right? So our issue was the company that we bought our home from, they do not do setup. They only sell the homes and make the homes. So as a result, this list that we got here, okay, it's one sheet and it has probably about 15 different manufactured home installers on here. So when it came to the realization that it would be our responsibility to find a contractor to set up our home, oh boy, right? And then I thought, well, it shouldn't be that bad. All we have to do is go on this list and this section off, because they only deal with Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So this top section right here that I got circled off, that is for Pennsylvania. And it's about 6 different manufactured home installers. And they have to be HUD certified because in 1976, I believe, HUD took over the manufactured home process. So it have to be set up and built just like a traditional home. So, and when you put the home together, they have to be a HUD certifier. So I guess they have to take a test or whatever and have to have a certain license. And they have to, I don't know if they renew it yearly, every 3 years or whatever. So the installers have to be HUD certified so that your house is, it's like, so you won't break the warranty on the house by just getting anybody to set up your house. So anywho, like I said, when we came to the realization that we had to go out and find our own contractor, I was like, oh boy. And then like I said, okay, well, it shouldn't be that bad. You know, we have a list of 5 people on this list. So let me just call and see what's going on. But the problem, again, another problem, This list right here of the 5, it don't tell you who do what. So in my mindset, since we've never done this before, I'm thinking that you call a particular company, a particular installer, to see if they're available, how much they'll charge, and see if they will accept the project. Well, let me tell you, we called everybody on this list and got no response. When I mean no response, either we had to email them or call them, because on the list, some of them list their numbers and some of them list their email address. So I emailed them or called them and left a message. And let me take that back. We did get a response from one person, and that's when we knew that we were in more trouble than we initially thought. We contacted this gentleman and he called us back. Now, he said all he does is pier footings, and that is the foundation that the house sits on. So he's an excavator that digs the holes and pour the concrete in it, and they're called pier footings, and that's what the house sits on. That's all he does. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? So after we started calling these people, and when we did get some people to talk to us, we realized that each manufactured home installer, some of them, a lot of them, do not do the whole process from start to finish of setting up your home. Some people only specialize in a certain area. And like I said, the first person that contacted us back, they only did pier footings. So what are we going to do? And like I said, we called all those 5 or 6 companies, and none of the other ones returned our call. So after I went into a brief panic, I looked at the bottom of this page, and it has the HUD website that says a full list of licensed installers can be found on the website. So I'm like, phew, okay, let me go to the website and let's see what we got. Now, this is what I pulled off from the website. This one page is about 50 installers. Another page, 50 installers. And then this last page, this about 5. So I got between 55 and 60 installers that I can call. So I'm like, okay, somebody on this list should be able to help us. But then after I look at the list again, I had to narrow it down to those installers who are close to where our property is. And let me tell you, it wasn't a hard process of calling them, but getting somebody to call you back, now that was the problem. So I don't know if it was an instance that some of the companies, their workload was too busy that they couldn't take on anything new, or if they didn't have enough employees that they couldn't take on an additional job. And I understand that. But I think communication is key. And I guess the issue that I had with a lot of these companies is no one returned your call. Okay. Even if you couldn't take the job, at least return the call and say, look, we're busy, yada, yada, yada. We appreciate your interest, but we can't take the job. You know what I'm saying? But all I heard was crickets, crickets, crickets. So I broadened my my search. I was trying to find somebody within 30 minutes, no more than an hour away from us. So then I had to broaden my search area. So I did 90 minutes. And a lot of them people, now they did answer, but a lot of them said, nope, that's too far for me. Nope, that's too far for me. Can't do it. Can't spare my men. There was this one guy. He was 4 hours away, and he was willing to take the job. And I was shocked and also thankful. He lived 4 hours away. He said he could do the job, but that would cause more expense on our part, because one, we would have to set him up in a hotel, which is understandable. Who's going to travel 4 hours, work all day, and then have to drive 4 hours back home. So that was understood. But since he was 4 hours away, that was too long of a distance for him to bring all of his equipment. So he would have to rent equipment in our area. So that would have been an additional cost. So we had him on the back burner. So we finally found somebody, okay, that did the complete setup with the exception of pier footings, okay? So we had our general contractor who did the setup, put the home together, put it on top of the foundation, anchor it down, all of that. Okay, but the only thing that they didn't do was the pier footings. So back to the drawing board again. So I called the initial person that I had called in the beginning of our search and to see if he was available. And we sent him a copy of the pier footing blueprint and everything. Nothing, crickets. So I'm like, why ask for this information if you're not going to take the job? If you're unavailable, I understand. We all get busy. You know what I'm saying? Just because I called doesn't mean that you're available to assist us. But why ask for this information from us if you're unable to do the job or take the job? So anywho, back to the drawing board. So we talked to our general contractor to see if he knew of anybody that could do the pier footings. You know, since I'm sure that he run across different installers in that line of work. So he mentioned a couple people and we called and we were able to find a installer that does pier footing. And let me tell you, this story gets hilarious because that company that did the pier footings for us is also a manufactured home seller. They sell homes and they also provide full setup. And it gets even funnier. That was one of the first places that we visited when we was in Pennsylvania. But at that time, we weren't looking to, we hadn't even considered living in a manufactured home. We hadn't even considered relocating. We had just went and looked at these homes because we were in Pennsylvania for the weekend and we had drove past it and we had went there because it was something to do. Okay, because we were planning on going to Sight and Sound. So we had a couple of hours on our hands. So we went and looked at the houses and saw how nice it was. And when we came home that weekend, that's when the light bulb moment went off and we said, is this something that we think we can do? But anywho, let me get back to my story. So, like I said, I didn't know that there was a difference. I thought all manufactured home sellers had the complete package. They sold the homes and they set up the homes. I thought all manufactured home sellers were set up this way. And out of the 4 places that we went, what are the odds that we picked the company that don't provide any setup? And I do believe that the process that we're going to, it was hindered or delayed because of that, because it took us a couple of months to find a contractor to set it up. So we probably would have been in better position if we would have purchased a home from a company that provided setup. We probably wouldn't have gone through the delay and ordeals that we went through as far as getting the permits because we were totally green. Okay, we didn't know the process, what to put on the paperwork, what to expect, documentation that we needed. But if we would have went with a company that provided complete setup, that's not their first rodeo. So they know the process and procedures, and they could have, led us along the way to put in for the permit, or they could have put in the permit themselves. Okay. So a lot of the permit process that we had delays with because of our inexperience, not knowing how to fill out the paperwork, and so on and so forth. So that is a lesson learned. When you deal with a manufactured home company, ask the question, find out if they do the complete package, sell the house as well as set up. Okay. Now, some people, the process, the way that we went may not bother them. You know, they may find it the process enjoyable or a learning experience, something that they want to do. But trust and believe, the stress that we have gone through going this way, I wouldn't want to do it again. You know, hindsight is 2020. If I had to do it over, I would have went with a company that did the complete setup. But like I said, don't get me wrong, we love the house. We love the way they built it and everything. But it's just that one issue that was a headache for me. It caused many sleepless nights because, case in point, okay, they put your house on the schedule, right? When we signed the contract, we signed it on April 26th. They estimated that the house should be finished in the end of July. Okay, so that's 3 months. Okay, so in that period of time, we had to find a contractor, an installer, a HUD certified installer to set up the house, because we had to let the manufactured home company know so that they can put it in their documentation, right? Who is going to set up our house. So, I done lost my train of thought. Anywho, so like I was saying, we signed the contract on April 26th, and they said the house should be ready at the end of July. So in that period of time, that 3 months, we had to get the land prepped and ready to receive the house when it was ready to be delivered. So a lot of that got delayed because we could not find a manufactured home HUD certified installer. And the first process was the pier footing. So that's why I wanted to do this video today and do the pier footings next week, just to show you, to let you know about the obstacles, the brick walls that we encountered. So we found our general contractor. When did we find him? We found him in April as well. Okay. But we did not find the company to do the pier footings until, let's see, they dug the pier footings, I think it was like August 7th. So we probably found this company in June. Okay, so 2 months after we signed the contract, right? So we found that company, Superior Homes. They dug the pier footings, and basically he told us that what permits we needed in order for his company to come out and dig the holes. So he let us know. We didn't know. So that was a good thing. So my point is, there was a lot of gaps. Yeah, I know there's a lot of delays in construction, but misinformation shouldn't be part of that delay. You can make the best decision when you have all the necessary information presented before you. And so, like I said, this list right here, my 2.5 pages that I got off the HUD website, they have, I guess all 50 states, or all the states that where you can put a manufactured home on. It's not lit, only it's in alphabetical order according to state, but it does not tell you what each company does. So I called all of these people on this list, okay? Over 60 companies. And I probably got a return call from about 6 of them. Okay. 6 of them out of the 60. And like I said, I had to call all of them. One, because we were looking for a general contractor. We were trying to find somebody who did the whole thing. But according to this list, it only lists the owner's name, their telephone number, and or email address, and where their company is located. It doesn't tell you what they do in the manufactured home setup process. It doesn't tell you if they only do pier footings. It doesn't tell you if they only do setup. It don't tell you nothing but the company name, the owner's name, and their contact information. So you have to call each company in order to hopefully put together a team. You know what I'm saying? Because you may not be able to find that one company that does the full process. So I said, once all this is done and I recovered, sometime next year, I was going to try to call HUD and ask them, is there a way that they can organize the list with categories? You know what I'm saying? Like, these 20 companies do pier footings. These 25 companies do complete setup, something like that, because the way they got this list is really not helpful, because you have to call almost everyone unless you hit the jackpot on the first couple of calls. So that process was tedious, trying to find someone to help us. But thanks be to God, we have a good crew, a very good crew. So sometimes being delayed, is not a bad thing, because the companies that you were reaching out to previously may not have been a good fit. You know what I'm saying? So that is the process that we went through. And and I Googled the company that we bought the home from, and I never saw any bad reviews. Okay. I didn't. But hey, this is a situation that we're dealt with. So we're gonna make lemonades out of lemon. And I will be glad when the process is over. Trust and believe. I think I need about 3 vacations, after we get settled in the house. But, I just want to, and that's why I wanted to make this video series, Our Journey into Buying a Manufactured Home. Because if I can help prevent somebody else going through this process, whatever road you go down is your business. But if you have all the information, you can make a better decision. And had we known in the beginning that that this company, Champion Factory Direct, don't do install, wouldn't with them. No, even though the house is beautiful. Because, and another thing, when you buy a manufactured home from the companies that do offer setup, they give you a set price of what delivery and install would be. They give you a price of how much the house costs, and then they give you an additional price, how much delivery and setup would be. So if you pay $140,000 for your house, they may say that the delivery and all of the setup is $22,000. Okay. But the way we going about it, it probably costs more, because you're doing a la carte. You're going to this company for pier footings. You're going to this company, for setup. Whereas I believe the other companies, they have one price to cover everything. So these other companies, they have different prices, whereas the other companies have one set price. That's the point I'm trying to make. So anywho, that's the video for today. I'm sure it's something that I'm missing talking about, but if you have any questions, ask. And if I have any other afterthoughts, I'll just put it in the description box later. but I think I've covered everything. My point was ask questions as many times as you have to make sure it's right in your mind, because at the end of the day, it's your time and it's your money, so it should be your decision. All righty, that is my video for this week, and next week we will be going over the peer footing process. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.